they left, someone actually said, "Relax, she's just the cleaner." And everyone around the table laughed with him. What they didn't know was that my name was about to be read out loud, in front of all of them. I had been cleaning offices in that downtown Chicago building for almost 2 years. Nights, weekends, holidays, whatever shift they needed covered. The pay wasn't great, but it was steady. And at 30 years old, with rent due every month and student loans I'd probably never finish paying, steady was all I had. That night, the company was hosting their annual gala, the kind of event where everything had to be perfect. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, centerpieces that probably cost more than my monthly salary. Executives, investors, department heads, everyone who mattered, dressed like they belonged in a magazine. I was there to wipe tables and empty trash bins. Like always, the ballroom smelled like champagne and designer perfume. I smelled like bleach and floor polish. I wasn't trying to be invisible. I just became that way. When you're the person cleaning up spills while others are making toasts, you learn to fade into the background. You learn to move quietly, to not make eye contact, to pretend you're not hearing their conversations. I'd gotten good at it. Around 9 o'clock, someone knocked over a wine glass near the appetizer table. Deep red wine, spreading across white marble like blood on snow. I grabbed my cart and walked over quickly. My sneakers squeaked against the polished floor. A few people glanced at me, then looked away, like I was part of the furniture. As I knelt down to wipe it up, I heard one of the senior managers say it clearly, "Don't worry about her. She's just the cleaner." Then came the laughter. Soft, casual, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Like I wasn't even human enough to be offended. I kept scrubbing. My hands were trembling, but I kept going. The wine had already seeped into the grout between the tiles. It wasn't coming out easily. I pressed harder, scrubbed faster. No one said thank you. No one even looked at me after that. One woman in stilettos stepped over my hand while I was still wiping. Didn't acknowledge me at all. Didn't even break her stride. Another guy turned his back mid-conversation, like my presence had interrupted something important. A third person moved their plate away from me, like I might contaminate their food. I stayed down, head low, hands moving. That's what invisible people do. We keep working, we stay quiet. We pretend we didn't hear, but I heard. I heard everything. After I finished, I stood by the supply closet in the hallway, gripping the handle of my mop cart so tight my knuckles went white. My chest felt heavy. My throat felt like it was closing. I thought to myself, maybe they're right. Maybe this is all I'll ever be to them. Just the cleaner. Just someone who wipes up their messes and disappears into the background. Someone who doesn't matter. Someone who doesn't have a name. Someone who's just there. I thought about leaving, about walking out through the service exit and never coming back. I thought about how easy it would be to just disappear, to quit, to find another job where maybe people would see me as more than just a pair of hands holding a mop. But something stopped me. Maybe pride, maybe stubbornness, maybe just exhaustion. Or maybe I wanted to see how this night would end. I stayed. About 40 minutes later, the music lowered, the lights dimmed toward the main stage at the front of the ballroom. A voice came over the speaker asking everyone to gather near the podium. Conversations hushed. Phones were tucked away. People turned toward the stage with champagne flutes in hand, curious expressions on their faces. The CEO, a silver-haired man in an expensive navy suit, stepped up to the microphone. He had that commanding presence that made everyone stop and listen. He started talking about growth, about partnerships, about innovation, about how this year had been transformative for the company. People nodded along. Some clapped at the right moments. Then he said something that made the room lean in. Tonight, we're announcing the signing of a major contract, one that will shape the next 5 years of this organization. People clapped louder this time. A few cheered. He continued, "This contract represents millions of dollars in revenue. It's a partnership we've been working toward for over a year, and it's being managed by someone extraordinary." The room buzzed with anticipation. People started whispering, trying to guess who it was. I was in the back, near the kitchen doors, organizing cleaning supplies, folding towels, wiping down bottles, trying to stay out of the way. I wasn't paying attention until I heard it. My full name, loud, clear, echoing through the entire ballroom. I froze. My hands stopped moving. My breath caught in my throat. For a second, I thought I'd imagined it, that maybe I'd heard wrong. But then he said it again. My name. My actual legal name. With perfect pronunciation. The room went completely silent. People started looking around, confused, turning their heads, whispering to each other with furrowed brows. Someone near the front said, "Wait." Who? Another voice, louder. I've never heard that name before. A third person. Is that someone from corporate? The CEO smiled and pointed directly. Achi, me, still wearing my gray cleaning uniform, still holding a spray bottle in one hand and a rag in the other. He said, clearly and calmly, "She's right there." Every single pair of eyes in that room landed on me at once. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the space, like time had stopped. I could see the confusion on their faces. The shock, the disbelief. Some people squinted, like they were trying to recognize me, like they'd never actually looked at me before, and they hadn't. Turns out, I wasn't just cleaning offices. I was also the legal representative and managing partner of the company that owned the entire building maintenance contract. The contract that included cleaning, security, facility management, everything that kept their offices running smoothly. The same contract they were celebrating, the same partnership the CEO was talking about, the same people who laughed at me an hour earlier wouldn't look me in the eyes now. The senior manager who made the joke, his face went pale. He just stood there, frozen, like he'd been caught doing something terrible. The woman who stepped over my hand, she looked down at her shoes like she wanted to sink into the floor and disappear. One guy near the bar turned around and walked straight out of the ballroom without saying a word to anyone. Others just stared, mouths slightly open, unable to process what they'd just heard. The CEO invited me to come up on stage. I didn't move. I just gave a small nod from where I was standing, a quiet wave with the hand that wasn't holding the spray bottle. That was enough. The applause started slowly. Awkward at first, then it grew. Some people clapped genuinely. Others clapped because they didn't know what else to do. But I saw the ones who didn't clap. The ones who just stood there, staring at me like I decommitted some kind of crime by existing in a space they thought belonged only to them. After the applause died down and people went back to their conversations, I finished my shift. I mopped the last hallway, wiped down the counters, locked up the supply cart, turned off the lights in the back rooms, and I went home. No speeches, no confrontations, no moment of triumph where I told them all off. Just silence, because here's what I learned that night. Respect doesn't come from a title on a business card. It doesn't come from the clothes you wear, or the office you sit in, or how loud your voice is in a meeting. It comes from who you are when no one is watching. When people think you're small, when they think you don't matter. The people who see you as less than human, they'll always be the ones caught off guard when reality shows them otherwise. I didn't need revenge. Reality gave me that. And honestly, I didn't feel victorious that night. I just felt tired. Tired of being underestimated. Tired of being invisible. Tired of being reduced to what I was wearing instead of who I actually was. But also grateful. Because I knew something they didn't. I knew my worth even when no one else did. And that night, in front of everyone who ever looked past me, I didn't have to say a single word. My name said it all. The same name they never bothered to ask. The same name they never thought to remember. That name echoed through that ballroom. And it changed everything. Not because I needed their approval, but because the truth doesn't need permission to be heard. And sometimes, the quietest people in the room are the ones holding all the power.